In this episode of the Start a Movement Design Challenge, I'm going to be talking about this linear actuator and what I've been doing to build it up. So I designed a chassis, 3D printed, which is going to hold the linear actuator and the motor, and a little chassis for the truck that's going to mount the peripherals, where the peripherals will go. These are linear bearings, and you can see they don't take much to move. They're very free moving, and they have slots in this chassis. So here's another linear bearing, and it's got its own slot here. It's all the tight fit. Now ultimately this will be bolted down to this wooden base, but right now I'm just going to demonstrate how it works. So this is the lead screw, and it's fairly easy to move it. It'll just rotate down by itself in some cases. So that fits in the middle here between the guide rails, which have the linear bearings on them. And then this chassis will be bolted to these devices, and it sits on top there, held on with these screws, which I can bolt on later. But just to demonstrate it, I'm going to leave it like that. And then here's the stepper motor. It just slides in from the back into, there we go. It slides into the, there's a flexible coupling onto the lead screw, and I have to tighten it down here with the set screws. And we can move it. So up here we have the analog devices stepper motor driver card and the TMCL IDE, which is driving the stepper card, and I've just got it up to manually control the velocity. You can see it's moving the platform here. Back and forth, and that's what this is going to do in both of the applications that I'm going to set up with peripherals. And I can adjust the speed, and we can make it run a set program where it's just cycling back and forth. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the driver situation. When I start up the program, it says that there is a new driver for this card, or this driver card. And so I downloaded that, but it seems to need some kind of programmer, maybe on the a JTAG thing here. So I'm not sure exactly if it's got a bootloader in it yet. However, it's sort of working. This IDE is not the same as the ones that are on the internet. This is a newer version, and it seems to have fewer features. So it's tougher for me to figure out how to control it, because all the demonstrations are done with the older version. You know, for example, this position mode doesn't have any controls that the other one did. You can set up the profiles for the trajectory, but you can't seem to make it move with this thing, because the IDs on the internet have, you know, start stop buttons and stuff like that. This has a stop button and a relative motion button, but it doesn't do anything. So I'll have to figure that out, but I'm really pleased that the chassis and the linear actuator went together and they fit really nicely, so that I don't even need screws to hold this together. It's working fine just by these things being very closely positioned, and the motor slides in directly. There's no offset to worry about, and if there was, I guess that flexible coupler would handle it, but it's working well that way. So when there's a force on this platform, these linear bearings are thrust bearings, and they should be able to take the load so that we're not really loading up the bearings that are in the motor. So that is where I'm at, and there's going to be some, you know, packaging to put this in place, and I can also hook up the connector tester circuit board, which I think I demonstrated before.